What is up, everybody? It's Grim here. Hope you're all good this fine day. The weekend is over. It's time to get back to work. And as I say that, I'm heading into a goddamn brewery. Come on, Grim. What sort of role model are you? Set an example, man. I know. I'm doing some Pandaland 5-mans just for shits and giggles. But yeah, on a side note, the gold is shit. I got about 160 gold from this, and not impressed at all. But we'll save that for the gold making series, shall we? We'll put that to one side. But this video is relevant because I do want to talk about 5-mans. Now, the other day I was reading a blog, and basically it had a graph, okay? And the graph was number of original 5-mans. So not remakes, not like Shadowfang Keep or Deadmines. It was original 5-mans in an instance, the number versus the decline of subscribers. And they pretty much matched. Line for line, they matched all the way down. So it started off TBC, and then went down in Wrath, and then went down in Kata, and blah blah blah. Now, I understand there are far more pressing factors involved. You know, the Pandaland dailies, for a start, killed things way before the 5-mans ever would. I understand there's a lot of other things, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking about the 5-mans of WoW. I used to love 5-mans. One of my big things when I very first started playing was I could never get into a raid guild. I wasn't going to be a raider, I understood that, but I wanted the experience of being this hero going into this, you know, an environment and fighting the odds and winning. And the questing was cool. But 5-mans just gave me that hero, you know, Conan, D&D kind of, just that experience. I used to love it. Now, we're at a stage where heroics and 5-mans really in general mean very little. People do them to level up, and they give you tons of XP, and it's all great. Really fast way of leveling, good way of getting decent gear. But that's about it. Then they reach top level. Now, some people at the moment, when they reach top level, they will, you know, run some normals, get some gear. When they've got decent enough gear, they will go and do, you know, heroic to get more gear, so they can then do LFR. The fact is, there is no need. Alright, there's no need. With Warcrafted gear, everything else, you do not need to run 5-mans. You can basically ding 100 from questing, and put on your Warcrafted, you know, go and kill some rares, put their gear on, and boom! All of a sudden, you're at LFR level. And why would I do? Let me rub my chin and have a little thought. So I could do, obviously, your 5-man heroic, once I've done the proving ground, obviously. Okay, and I could get some blue 630 gear, or I can do the Highmore thing at 615, can I? And I get some 640 gear, and I get these little tokens that sell for a fortune on the auction house and shit. And I don't really need to do a lot because there's like loads of us there. That sounds pretty fucking sweet. I'm gonna take that option. So it's made a complete mockery of, you know, heroic 5-mans. They don't mean anything. You don't need to CC, you don't need to be awake. You basically just have a tank that pulls a load of trash, you ping it down with whatever AoE into a huge death ball, boom, dead, kill the boss, move on to the next one. Next bit of trash, kill that, move on to the next boss. We're done, yeah, you collect rewards, and rinse, repeat. Now, I was chatting to some guildies about this. I was like, well, how the fuck? How can they save it? Because I've said for a long time that, in my opinion, you should have a normal 5-man. Then you should have LFR. Then you should have heroics, as in heroic 5-mans, and then you should have the normal raiding set. Right, that's how it should go, because LFR is meant to be designed for casual players to experience endgame content without the risks. Okay, you go into an LFR, you shouldn't be fucking dying. I know, we've all wiped. I said it myself on the Blackhand video. I turned around and said, there is no way you can wipe on Blackhand. It's not possible. You can't do it. And I had a guildie the other day turn around to me and say, Grim, we just wiped twice on Blackhand. Do you know that? I was like, shit, really? How? I don't really know, mate. I don't know. And then I went in there the other day myself, and we wiped. So, all I will say is that LFR never fails to surprise you with how dire it can be. But yeah, so that's the way I would have it. I'd have normal, LFR, heroics, and then I'd be on to the proper raid tier. Now I'm gonna push raiding to one side, because that should be in a tier elevated above all others on its own. Okay, and then within that there's set tiers of normal, heroic, mythic, yada yada yada. Okay, so we're gonna put raiding at this question. So we're literally gonna look at normal, LFR, heroic. Because what I don't understand, okay, is if I want to get into a heroic 5-man, I have to prove myself. I have to go to the proving grounds, and I have to earn my stripes, so that when I go in with my fellow challengers, we're all maybe not of the same level, but we all have some fucking idea of what's going on. We all know that there is a minimum standard we have all reached. Now, many of you would go, that's bullshit, Grim, because Silver Proving Grounds is fucking easy. I can do gold in my sleep. I completely get that, and that's fine, guys. But there are actually people out there that will struggle or will be put off with Silver Proving Grounds. They will just go, do you know what, I don't want to do that. So they jump straight into LFR. I've seen tanks in LFR who are in green questing gear, or they've got enough items to hit the 615, maybe not even equipped. And I'll put my hand up and say that I do that myself. I will do that myself, and if there's no heavy hitters in there, I will leave. I will say, look, I'm not pulling my weight. If it's not fair that I'm in here and I'm not in 615. But they'll be in shockingly bad gear. They will be... this is the best one, and I will try and dig out the screenshot. And if I can't put it in this video, I will put it in a separate one. I'll put it up on Twitter or Facebook or something. There was a tank joined at LFR, and a lot of his gear was still heirloom, which is fine. It's 605 gear, and heirloom gear isn't bad. But, okay, he was a Prots warrior, and the gear he was wearing, if I remember correctly, was part leather and part plate and part mail. So obviously whatever he had to give himself the XP bonus. And I'm sat there and thinking, really? Really? You just bolt. If you went into a 5-man like that, you'd probably die. And then a lot of the other people would be sat there going, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Seriously, how are you? Why are you in this 5-man? LFR, nobody cares. We wiped loads of times. And then somebody eventually turned around and went, what the fuck are you doing? And the guy left. Because at no point was he challenged. Okay, and I mean by the game, not by the people playing it, but I mean by the game. Why? And this is what it comes down to, okay? Why is the risk-reward lower on heroic 5-mans than it is for LFR? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. You risk more doing a 5-man. So, I go in, I have to pass my proving grounds. Okay, I have to go in, I have to do harder content with fewer people. So I've only got those guys around. I've got 4 other people to rely on. I've got 1 healer, 1 tank. DPS got to do their shit. They got to interrupt. You've got to all be on point. You can't carry people in a 5-man. You maybe can, but you can't get away with it. Not very often. Everybody generally has to be on point, or you fail. So why does that get a lesser reward than LFR, where you can carry half a... I've seen 8 guys carrying LFR easily on their backs, even fewer. So why does that get a greater reward? So we were chatting about this. Sorry to get so. We were chatting about this in Guild. But how do we save it? How do you save the 5-man? And this is the kind of the idea we come up with, and this is where I want you guys to step in. I want you to say, one, do you care whether 5-mans get saved or not? Are they completely irrelevant now? Should they just go the way of the dodo? Because Blizzard have tried. Blizzard have said, we've got this new token system where you can get a token to buy heirloom gear if you do the 5-mans. Isn't that fun? Isn't that a good idea? Okay, great. But here's what we thought. With Blizzard's scaling system, okay, if you did the beta, you will know that you can go into a dungeon and Blizzard can have you stat squashed. Okay, they can say this is your item level. Doesn't matter what gear you've got, whatever else, we are going to squash your stats to that level. Now, I want to reverse that because it's no fun. We've all tried it. If you go into if you go into a low-level 5-man with heirlooms on, even though you're low level, you still crush everything because your gear's so much better. So even if they stat squash you, if you go into a level 100 heroic 5-man with, stat squash, you're still going to kick ass. So why not have it that the game takes an average of the eye level of everybody in there, and then through whatever wizardry Blizzard create, it bumps the mobs up. So in health and in terms of damage, based on the average eye level of the group that is in there. Then what you could have, and you'd have to call it something like, I don't know, this would be a mythic 5-man. I hate that term, it should be this just heroic, but let's go with, we're calling this mythic 5-man. So you're in a, let's say, a 670 group, that's your average. So all the mobs are bumped up to your eye level. Alright? But, where's the reward? It's only still dropping 630 gear. Here's the thing, okay? You can potentially bump the gear up, or you can do coin drops, or whatever you would do from the bosses. But at the end, and this is the key, from queuing up for a mythic 5-man, you would get a treasure box, a 5-man treasure box, whatever you want to call it. And you open that up, and you get gear. You know, I remember back in Wrath, when Wrath was 5-mans were dropping purples, and people were like, dropping the purples is basically like fucking getting raid gear, you're not doing anything for it. Make people work for it. You know, give them a low drop chance on this box, you know, to get some really nice gear, but let's just bring back 5-mans and make them fun. LFR is a joke, we all know that. Put it where it rightfully belongs. Normal 5-mans, LFR, heroic. I know we've called it mythic, but let's bring back 5-mans, because WoW's been missing them for way too long. Have a good one, guys, and I'll catch you all later. They would kind of be in line with the sort of the same level as the Apexus gear. So it wouldn't be heroic level or anything like that. Don't want to panic the heroic guys, but it'd sort of be either a little bit lower or sort of the same level as normal level raid gear. But it'd be a very low drop chance. Apart from that, it would give you Apexus crystals. You get loads of them, so you can go and buy Apexus armor if you want to do it that way. But it gives people an alternative. It gives them a challenge. You have to use CC. The mobs are going to hit hard.